Remove the nose ring and let the cow race freely. So let's talk about Peta.
They must be bored.
You have no idea.
Non-apologetic
Nonsense.
I've made no secret about how I despise the company Nintendo. Everything from coming out with a new console, charging $450 for completely outdated, 10 years past its prime, coming out as brand new, all the way to first party games holding their day one price for generations. You know, it seems like right now, Nintendo, the console you can't play real AAA games on, has the most high-priced games in all of gaming. But I think today I'm going to be forced to defend Nintendo.
Oh.
So we have a company called Peta.
Oh.
Peta calls for Nintendo to redesign Mario Kart World's cow without the nose ring. So just so anyone who might be retarded fully understands, this is a cartoon cow. He just drives around on his little moped here. There's no, well, come here, cow. You know, there's none of that stuff.
We get to see him turn into hamburger meat.
No, nothing that I'm aware of. I mean, who knows what the DLC will hold, but
It's a secret ending for the game.
it says cow is playable for the first time in series history. Peta says that in real world, these rings are used by the meat and dairy industries to exploit, control, and even drag animals to their deaths, which I think that last part needs to be fact-checked a little bit.
To be honest, as long as I've been alive, I've never seen a cow or bull with a ring in their nose.
I've seen around here more bulls. I really don't see the cow thing. And I don't even really know what they're for, but they send this long, convoluted...
Badass.
Yeah. Convoluted letter, and they publish the letter publicly, which tells me, well, they're just douches. You know what I mean? Why would that not be a private thing? Which means this whole story came out because PETA leaked this letter to the powers that be. The last part of their letter says, the brass ring in cow's nose glosses over real-world violence and cruelty to animals. That's why we're asking to give this beloved bovine a small but meaningful upgrade. Remove the nose ring and let the cow race freely. So let's talk about PETA.
They must be bored.
You have no idea. I looked into the company yesterday, okay? I never knew much about them. I knew they throw paint on people and they're just an overall nuisance. But giving my love of animals, you know, love my dog to death. When Shadow died last year, it took a piece of my soul. Moving on. So you would think that I side with PETA. No. Let's go over a few of PETA's indiscretions. So they're a nonprofit. Nonprofits are nonsense. They're not real. Because what a nonprofit's supposed to do, they pay base salaries, you know, nothing too crazy. And then whatever they make above that is supposed to be donated to whatever cause they're linked with. Well, PETA is like most nonprofits, just like churches. Instead of doing that, they just give their top executives bonuses in the amount of the profit. So last year, you know, it was six figures. It was, I think, $198,000 for the top executives, you know. So that money could have gone to helping animals, right, if they really care. Mm. But we're going to see a pattern of PETA wasting money here. See, PETA's core belief is that we should not own pets. Pets should live wild and free out there in the world, even if they're worse off because of it. You know, people are the devil. So this is not the first time they've gone after a video game. They went after World of Warcraft several years ago. Apparently, there were some little seals in the game, like the animal seal, or whatever noise they make. And
Spot on.
If you chose to, you could beat the seal.
He's out there clubbing seals.
Yeah. So PETA caught word of this, and they grabbed activists, and they staged an event where they went into other people's games. You know, I'm not going to pretend to know how World of Warcraft works. But they went into the game and they guarded the seals. And then if someone tried hitting the seal, they would try to kill the character. But PETA forgot, man, these dorks of World of Warcraft, they know what they're doing, man.
Don't fuck around.
Yeah, so they quickly gave up on that. They also went after Mario before with Super Mario 3. What's the raccoon called? The Tanuki?
Yeah,
Tanuka?
something like that.
Okay. So, you know, he wears the raccoon I think it's a raccoon hat, but there's a raccoon tail.
Yeah, there's two things in Super Mario 3. You could get the leaf that, just gave you the ears and the tail.
Yeah.
And then later on in the game, you could a full-on raccoon costume that he'd wear.
I bet you that's the one they took, because what they did was they built their own cheap game, flash game, like a mobile/PC game. And it showcased Mario, but he had the real-life head of a raccoon on him and the dead bloody body flopping behind him as he flew.
It sounds badass.
And they did it once again with Pokemon. They believe that
Fictional animals that don't exist in this world at all.
they believe that if you know anything about Pokemon, it's gotta catch them all. So they think when you catch them all, you're putting them in a cage.
He's locked in that little ball, man.
PETA is against that treatment of fictional animals. So they made a Pokemon game called Pokemon Black and Blue, where you just beat the hell out of the little creatures and then throw them in cages and abuse them. That was the whole game. Now, how they get away with all this trademark infringement, I really don't know. It's almost as if PETA wants to look like they care without actually doing, because think about how much money we're at right now.
They don't sell the infant, they just put it out for free.
For free, yeah.
And that's like saving.
Mm-hmm. And which means they're making none of that money back. They also went as far as to do a Super Bowl commercial a few years back. The Super Bowl commercial told you almost word for word that if you went vegan, your dick would be harder and you can fuck longer. That's their Super Bowl ad for PETA. Protect animals.
Yeah, I think it's
harder dick.
Two gay guys laying in a bed with a chicken, and it had something to do. I don't know what the message was, but yeah, all it looked like was these guys just had a three-way with a chicken.
Hey, if they went vegan, that dick's freaking like this. You know what I mean? It's ready to poke
clucking
some cocks.
and fucking.
Okay. On top of that, there was a company they were beefing with. So PETA paid for several tons of manure, this was in New York, to be delivered to that company's address, right? Except it was frigid cold, the manure froze, and the dump truck, it wasn't able, it didn't release anything because it was frozen to the steel of the bed of the truck. So a couple PETA members, there's a video of this, they're back there like this, trying to get just a little bit of the manure onto the New York streets in front of that. This is what PETA is doing. As I said, PETA should have taken these, especially with the Super Bowl ad, we're talking millions of dollars. And remember, they get their money through donations, so I was about to say I didn't give him a damn thing, but somebody gave it to him.
It's the Pokemon one that really gets me.
Well, you gotta catch them all if you're serious. But you would think, well, PETA should, with that money, they should open up some animal shelters, right?
Yeah.
They already did that, okay? And in their state, I think it's West Virginia, they euthanize animals at 3x the rate of any other shelter in their state. PETA is actively killing the animals that are coming in. So not only is it 3 times higher than their state, and I believe the national average, they euthanize 80% of the animals that are given to them because people believe PETA will protect them. 80%.
That's pretty fucked up.
Here's why. They believe that, and they admitted that, sure, we euthanize a bunch of dogs who are perfectly healthy and could be adoptable. But they say, you know what? They're better off being dead than being in human hands.
Give them back to God.
So, in 2014, they had their biggest scandal. So, they like to go on the side of the road and scoop up stray animals or animals who have gone away from the house that their owner lives at. They just drive around, whoop, pick them up, bop them on the head, whatever. They knew there were stray animals, and then they saw on somebody's porch a kitten. So, what did they do? He ran up on that porch, yoink, and they snatched that baby kitten as well, euthanized it within an hour, and their state requires there's a 3-day waiting period before you can euthanize any animal after it's picked up. So within hours, that kitten belonged to a little girl. Within hours, the parents had came home, watched their Ring doorbell type thing, saw that, went down to get it, already dead. So they winded up suing PETA. And I think they winded up getting $50,000 or something. But, you know, I mean, the little girl don't understand that.
All right.
PETA just likes to be a nuisance. Like, okay, this Nintendo thing. We're talking about fictional cartoon characters that they don't like. And they're spending all of this money. But when they spend the money to help animals, their version of helping animals is killing animals. So, like, what do we do here? Because someone else who wouldn't have looked into that just assumes if they're going to, like, maybe they love animals, they're going to donate to PETA. It's the biggest known name. It's also the best type of bread. You know, so those two things are related somehow. So all I see PETA as, they collect donations. They use none of it to help the animals. They kill them, they pocket the donations, and then every once in a while they get their name in the news cycle with this. Just, hey, we're still here. Donate money to us. So let's take a little bit.
Free these virtual cows, man.
Okay, so the cow here, we see the photo here with the nose ring. I'd be more concerned about this freaking chin. Do you think Nintendo will cave and put out a patch?
Probably not.
You think Nintendo will stand their ground against PETA?
I think so.
Do you? I think it could go either way because they're talking about
They're going to send him a cease and assist.
Essentially, they're talking about doing litigation. Remove the nose ring and let cows race freely without any painful reminders of the industries that treat animals like profit-making machines. Now, let's analyze that last line. The industries that treat animals like profit-making machines. That should
like
be
you.
Like you. That should be PETA's slogan. We are an industry that treat animals like profit-making machines.
And then we kill them.
They kill all of them, and really, that's like their secret goal. It's almost like Scientology. Like, you got to get up with your Thanos level, and you know what I mean. You gotta be so deep before you realize the real picture, which is just we want every animal killed because we don't want to take a chance that they might wind up in human hands. Where do we go from here? Should we go to PETA's headquarters? Burn it down?
Yes.
But as of today, they still have multiple shelters.
Start our own anti-PETA.
Yeah, they still have multiple shelters in their home state. I'm not sure if they branched out to others. Hopefully not. But I can tell you one thing, and that is those shelters are fucking empty. Wow, wow.